how about this? The RailCats and Andrew Mild, they decided to team up and come out with the mild hot sauce, right? So every time someone hits a home run, they take a shot of that hot sauce.
He gets one high in the air. Left field. This one's got a chance. And let's go on a cowhide. Jory Ride. Sound the horn. The Railcats clear the yard.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to the RailCats Talk podcast. He's Chuck Polarek. I'm Kyle Svetich. And what last week was a bit of a slow week, turned into a busy week this week. And then with Easter and being delayed a little bit, and then having Jay Pesci on, I didn't think maybe we take the week off. I lied. That's not going to happen. So yeah, we have a total of what? One, two, three, four, five, four, because one was released. So four players signed this week and one release. But before we get into the players, we did have an interview with Jay Pesci. So Chuck, do you have any thoughts from Jay?
Um, it was fun actually. That was kind of what I walked away from it. I wish we would have mentioned or asked him the question of uh did uh did he play with Ichiro? And after we found out he did, which was pretty exciting. So, stuff like that. But overall it was pretty funny. Um, had a good time. So
Yeah. I that was the one thing I really researched, and yet again, I didn't ask the question because I got caught up doing it. The thing is, when someone gives me a time limit, I want to make sure I hit that time limit, and I think we were just starting to run
right.
out of time. So it's just like that wasn't the first thing that popped into my head. So him talking about Ichiro and all the other fun stuff, that's I'm jealous. I've always when I was younger, Ichiro was an idol of mine to look up to, just because that was kind of the way I had to play baseball. Was a little bit of a small ball speed, not a big power guy. So I always looked up to that kind of player in that front. But yeah, I think it's good. I really think that Mississippi did a good job. Joe did a good job at getting a manager there at Mississippi that has the winning pedigree, that knows how to win, and has that coaching experience, and probably has some of that connection. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do down there. We'll kind of keep a little bit of tabs on it, but not like, yeah, that's what we're gonna give you your weekly Mississippi updates. That's not gonna happen. No, we're not doing that. That's not gonna go that. I don't have enough time in the day to worry about one team, let alone two teams. So I'm
Right,
sorry
right.
for all those people that might be disheartened in that one. All right, now we're gonna get into probably the biggest surprise that I wasn't necessarily expecting. Lincoln comes out with their all-star pitcher, and we're sitting there going, I don't, what big fish are we gonna get this year? We
Right.
were waiting for it, and
Yep.
our questions have been answered with the left-handed pitcher Cody Reed, who is
Yep.
32 years old. He played 6 years in the major leagues. Um, he's 6 foot 5, 230 pounds, another big left-handed batter, or pitcher. I say batter, and it's a pitcher. I'm looking right at it, and it says pitcher. He's from Memphis, Tennessee. He was drafted in the second round of the 2013 draft to the Kansas City Royals out of Northwest Mississippi Community College. He made his MLB debut on June 18th of 2016 against the Houston Astros. Reed started the game and went 7 innings, giving up 6 hits and 4 earned runs, 3 walks, striking out 9, giving up 2 home runs. He got a no decision. The Reds ended up losing in extra innings 5-4. He struck out George Springer 3 times in that game. So George Springer, pretty good batter. I I would have to admit that one. His last game in the MLB was May 18th of 2021 against the Orioles. He pitched 2/3 innings, struck out 2, walked 2. He played for the Reds and the Rays in the major leagues, and he was in Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Tampa Bay for the minors. He played 9 seasons in the minors, 6 years in the majors. Last year, he played in the Mexico League. This is what Lamar had to say about Cody. Cody brings 6 years of MLB experience to our Railcats team. He has been both a starter and reliever. but has excelled in the bullpen over his career. His knowledge of the game will be valuable to both starters and relievers and our pitching staff. He's excited to get going, and we're happy to be a part of his hopeful road back to the major leagues. Um, Another little fun fact, in high school, he broke the records for most strikeouts, most wins, most innings pitched, most batters faced, most starts, and most shutouts. That was a little fun fact. He was traded from the since Kansas City Royals to the Reds in exchange for two other players, but Johnny Cueto. So, I mean, good for him on that front. Notable thing in MLB, he pitched an ERA of 5.22, minors 3.65, and then with independent baseball, he pitched ERA is like 4.12. His it doesn't he doesn't really have a lot of experience in independent baseball, so he's just fresh into the minors here a little bit. So that's all. I have the wrong person here, but I think this is someone that we kind of need. I think this could be, if necessarily, a role that if he doesn't make it back, he could fall into a coaching role, and I think that this could be a good player coach role for him to a certain extent, getting that leadership ability. Maybe learning to further his career. On some of that stuff. So I like it. I mean, it's a big name, and I've heard he has some really good stuff to it. I think he might be coming off an injury, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, he only played 1 year in independent, and that was in the Mexican League, where he only played in 26 games. So yeah, I have it all written down here. He has the potential. I mean, in his career, he has a strikeout to walk ratio of 2.23. So he looks like a guy that's going to give you um, everything that he has, and it is someone that's is going to be suitable. I like it. I think it's a good pickup. I think it's shaking up the roster a little bit to really put pressure on some of the returning guys or some of the other pitchers that we have on the staff to kind of get it going, and he could be that extra voice. Um, I don't know how much of a shell shock it's going to be going from, majors, minor leagues to Mexico, then coming to really the MLB partner league. So it's going to be a little bit different on that front of it, but uh, big step in the right direction of something me and you were both like, what are we doing with this roster? And well,
I was not doing that. That was all you.
yeah,
I knew
okay,
I knew
buddy, okay,
a
buddy.
month ago that Lamar had some sort of ace up
Mhm.
his sleeve, and I had faith. You're the one that loses faith so quick.
Yeah, I'm the one that loses the
It's
faith. Yeah,
unbelievable
yeah.
that you would even doubt that we would get a player like this. In all reality, in all honesty, here's what I think. Um, First of all, hats off to Lamar for grabbing somebody like this. I don't know what his attitude's like. I don't know how well his attitude will mesh in with kind of what Lamar does, but I do feel fairly confident that, Lamar goes for a certain type of guy, and this guy's personality probably fits that. You mentioned earlier talking to Jay and something that, what did I think about it? Well, I thought it was interesting that he had talked about um you know that relationship with the catcher, uh being able to tell you um what's going on with your pitcher, that kind of thing, right? Kind of having eyes out there that aren't necessarily a coach. And I think that was during the conversation with him, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure. uh you know Maybe this gives you your eyes in the bullpen.
It
Maybe
could.
this gives you the hey, uh, you know, K Dub, this guy, he's not ready, man. He's wild. He's not ready. We got to come up with a plan B. Maybe he's that guy, right? And no, I don't think that as a pitcher you ever want to be like, I'm not ready or I don't have my stuff today. You want to take the mound. You don't want to be that guy that bails out, right? But sometimes for the betterment of the team, you need to have that third party that can say, actually, you ain't got your stuff today. No disrespect, but we need to go a different route today. This might be that guy, you know, and maybe we haven't talked about catchers yet, but maybe this is Lamar's way of kind of getting that uh, third party evaluation without having to rely on a catcher for that.
Yeah. Again, speaking of catchers, last week when we talked, we had a total of what, one whopping catcher,
One catcher,
and
and I said we need another catcher. Apparently, Lamar heard me. Got two more.
we got two more. The first one is going to be Anders Noriega.
Hold
Uh,
on. I I think that how sometimes when you're playing these videos back, it starts to break up a little bit. Maybe it's like lags. I believe that I not only said that we needed another catcher, but I said we needed an experienced catcher. I think
that's the part that
experienced part.
that's the part that lagged out. Uh,
Yeah, the experienced part is what lagged.
yeah. We'll get into what we think might have happened because of with the signing of Cody Reed, it makes a little bit more sense of what could potentially be happening and what you might have heard. But we'll get into that after we get through with some of these players. So Anders Noriega, uh, catcher, right-handed, played one game with the RailCats last year. He's 24 years old from Colombia. He was a free agent signing of the Dodgers in 2017. He played 3 seasons in the minors, from rookie fall ball, rookie ball, all the way up to AAA from 2018 to 2021. He played 47 games in fall ball, 29 in rookie ball, 7 in AA, 1 game in AAA. In that AAA game, he went 0 for 1 with a strikeout. In 2022, Noriega played 60 games for Staten Island in the Atlantic League, 18 games for Sioux Falls. From 2020 or 2020, 2022 and 2024, he played in the Columbia Winter League. In the summer of 2024, he played 1 game with Railcats. He went over 2, scored 1 run with a strikeout. And then he was traded to Hagerstown of the Atlantic League for catcher Mike Galino. And then he played 10 games with Staten Island and 10 games with Hagerstown. He can play first base and left field. He has a throwout rate of 23%, so he caught 40 people stealing at 132 runners.
You said he played how many games?
With
How many games did he play after he got traded from us?
20, 10 with Hagerstown and
Okay.
10 with
20 games.
Staten Island. Yep.
20
Uh,
games. And in those 20 games, he had what kind of a throwout
oh,
percentage?
that's just a career,
Oh,
like just
okay.
career total, not yeah. That's just kind of
You
career
have the
total there.
total for those two.
No, it's very, very difficult to go through baseball reference and try to figure all that out. I would,
Have Ryan take care of that.
yeah. Ryan, actually, I have a window right here now. He's just outside that window now. He's actually
Oh,
outside. We just, with me getting the small corner and then Logan is going to get the rest of the room, I
right.
kind of had to, so I could see him, I had to throw
Right.
him outside. So unfortunately, he's outside,
Understood.
scraping there. Um, But looking at in his major league MLB partner league experience, he slashed a 228, 308, slugging of 331, and an OPS of 639. He struck out 74 times, walked 20. He has 7 home runs and 75 hits at 329 at bats. Um, yes. Any thoughts?
A lot of
Uh,
numbers.
I would have a quote from Lamar, but here's the other tricky part. Cody Reed and Anders were both signed together, and there is no article of Anders. So not
Andres?
Andres, yes. I'm
Okay.
yeah.
Not Anders.
Andres.
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 Uh, so okay. Last season, it was my understanding, and I could be wrong, that he was not happy with the current situation with us, that he wasn't going to be able to play. Might have been that the coaches thought that he needed to go somewhere else so that he could play, and they couldn't give him the time. Whatever it was, we traded him away. It's interesting to bring him back. I kind of felt like uh, bringing him back was a desperation move. Um, and I'm just looking at it from what you see, right? So we're just speculating here, but it kind of seemed like it was a desperation move of, hey, we need another catcher. Chuck said we need another catcher, and we don't have one, and I don't know that we can necessarily fulfill that. But hey, uh, those numbers aren't terrible. You know, I just I don't understand the playing 10 games and then another 10 games and being done for the year.
Nah, I don't know either. Well, talking about the third catcher that was signed, Julio Cajigas. Hopefully, I said that right.
You did.
Chuck and I sit there and forever and tried to figure this out, or well, I tried to figure this out, and Chuck is like, "Yeah, you said it wrong." Whatever the case may be. Anyways, just signed today of the recording, which would be Wednesday the 23rd. By the time this comes out, he's 27 years old. He's from Romeoville, Illinois. He was a backstop in his final 2 games of baseball in Concordia University. He hit 10 home runs combined and 54 runs, collecting 81 hits.
Was he a catcher the last 2 games for Concordia University?
By what Andrew Mild has put on for his article,
Okay.
yes, his final
Okay.
past 2 seasons.
Oh, interesting.
He was a pitcher out.
They didn't have him listed. They had him listed as a pitcher and an outfielder on their website.
Yeah. He was a pitcher and outfielder at Concordia, and he did join the RailCats for one trip to Winnipeg past season, where he went 0 for 1.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yes. Once again, another one of those, hey, we need another catcher, or we want to bring in another catcher and let these guys fight it out. I'm all for that. Like the fact guys from Romeoville. Not like he has to travel all that far to get here.
Yeah, and by the term, just need to get another guy. This is what Lamar Roger has to say. Julio will compete for a role as a catcher with the team. He's hardworking, appreciative of the opportunity. So if that's all you need to know, that's kind of where we're at on that portion of it.
There you go.
But on the 22nd, Ethan Lopez was released. I'll probably do some digging into that and see why potentially he was released. But we did sign Jake Hoover today. He spent a handful of seasons in the Atlantic League. He did reach AAA, played 3 games in Texas.
I want to say something about this. I think that if your last name is Hoover, you got 2 positions you can play. You're either a catcher or you're a shortstop.
Well, he's an infielder, so
Right.
that would he plays everything except first base in the infield. So he's he was drafted to the Texas Rangers in the 28th round in the 2019 draft. He's 27 years old. Um, just kind of looking really quick through all of his, looking at his MLB partner league experience. I mean, he bats at 228. The only thing that I think we kind of are like, I don't know about is he struck it out 248 times and has walked 71. But I mean, with 115 RBIs and 291 games played, I'll kind of take it. There's not a lot of home runs there. He has 50 doubles. It looks like he has some speed to him. He has 41 stolen bases. He only got caught 5 times, so he could be a potential guy that we get on base. And I would like to see the walk numbers there. If the walk numbers there, he could potentially play.
He might be your number 1 guy.
Yeah, and here's a little fun fact for you.
No more fun facts. We've hit our limit of fun facts.
No, it's a good fun fact. This is where the connection portion of it might come in. We could put 2 and 2 together here. When he was playing in AAA and AA, he was teammates. Huh?
Ty Tiedemann and
Yes.
with
Justin.
Josh Smith.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, do you know? Oh,
For those fun facts, you can just go to the RailCats website and read about.
okay. So that's I got it here, guys. No longer don't watch this podcast. Don't be supportive of it. Just go to the RailCats website. Got it. You know what? thank you for joining the podcast. I appreciate it. You guys I hope you have a good season, and I'll see you guys there when I get there. All right, bye.
The three
Hey,
games.
like
The three
what?
games to go to.
Why would you do that? What in your right mind was like, you know what? We're not gonna have a conversation. We're just gonna blow past all the fun facts, and we're just gonna sit here and twiddle our thumbs. Got it. So everything that
No. So here's the thing with Hoover, right? You got I think a solid number one, right? Um, I guess from what I saw last year and what we're seeing this year, I think patience at the plate is something that needs to be talked about every single day, right? I don't care what situation we're in, patience at the plate. It has to happen. And I hope that this guy with an outrageously huge strikeout to walk ratio, that he's one of those guys that, hey, if we can preach patience at the plate and this guy gets it, his numbers will show.
this is what Lamar had to say about Jake. Jake brings experience, infield flexibility from the Texas Rangers organization with his ability to play shortstop, second base, and third base. He is a confident, gritty, and hardworking player who briefly reached AAA. I look forward to him bringing the energy to the team, and I am pleased to welcome him to our RailCats club. You can always tell by Lamar's comments. If we go through all the comments, I can tell you who's going to be on the team and who's playing for an opportunity to be on the team. It's
Yes.
just
He makes it clear, right?
he makes it very clear, and I
Yes.
I respect the black and white. Like I get it. Again, Ethan Lopez. I'm not sure what happened with that, but seeing a guy, I understand that like in his experience with independent baseball, he played in Mexico. He was in the Pioneer League. He played in the Frontier League last year, but his strikeouts to walk ratio it's a lot of strikeouts, but it's also a lot of walks. I mean, he struck out 177 times and walked 95 times. Like that's a 2-to-1 ratio, which is kind of expected in that. There's not going to be a lot of people that are going to be able to nowadays outwalk their strikeouts. It just doesn't happen. So I'm not sure with that, especially someone. I understand like he hasn't had any AAA experience, any affiliate. He went through the ranks of the grind of going through the Pecos League, the Pioneer League. I mean, he made it to Mexico, so like
You're
take it for
talking
what
about
it is. Yeah, Ethan. So I just there's a couple that I would say that we already have on the roster. I'm like, why would we risk getting rid of this guy versus another
Yeah, I don't.
person?
I don't think that. I think that it's something outside of that. I don't
Yeah,
think that Lamar got rid of the guy because he brought somebody else in. I don't think that's it at all. Here's why. Um, you're only a week away, right?
hmm
And I don't see why you don't just let the guy come in and try for a spot and find out where the cards lay, right?
yeah,
So, you're not going to cut a guy that looks, rather promising like that. You're not going to cut him a week before the season unless something has come up.
yeah.
So I'm not gonna to try to
It,
dig into that. I don't think that there's anything. There's no smoke or no fire on that one. Um, but hey, I mean, I think that we're in a better spot this week than we were last week.
I
Uh,
agree.
I think that that it's more promising. Um, by no means do I think that we're up where everybody else needs to be. Um, but I can tell you this, uh, with this team, I really feel very confident that we can be better. It's all going to come down to the attitude in the clubhouse, patience at the plate. That's going to be your two secrets.
Which is ironic still here. I'm still looking at the
What are you ironicing me
well,
for?
we're talking about Ethan Lopez, and typically when the American Association puts something out, it's typically changed on point streak pretty quick, and Ethan Lopez is still on the roster.
Yeah.
So I who knows at this point? Maybe it's just the American Association just doing whatever they want, because that's just they seem to do that, right? But going back to the potential Ethan Lopez, it could be a situation of maybe we're a week away and he just doesn't know if he's able to make it. Like
Right.
that's a very good possibility, or something changed last minute. There,
Could be that he's injured or something and he hasn't, hey, I'm not ready yet or something like that. And they're just like, hey, we'll cut you in, we'll bring you back later on. It could be there's so much speculation we could do on this one move. It's not worth the brain power.
it's
Really not.
um, I mean, the more I feel it, I was little nervous going in beforehand, seeing a lot of the players that we had last year return, and going, I don't know.
You're first of all, you're full of baloney because you weren't just a little nervous. You were outrageously nervous. I think there's a good chance you don't have any fingernails left because you were so nervous at how we were going into this. I have to be the calm,
Sh-
cool, collective guy
don't you know what,
talk you
Chuck?
off
You know
the
what? No, no,
bridge.
no, 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 no. That's it. That's it. I'm done with your harassment. Okay. If it's anyone's a negative Nancy on this podcast, it's you. It's not me. It's you. I don't know how many times I've sat there and defended somebody like, no, no, I can't do it. No, they're terrible. I can't do it. No, what you don't even
Okay,
give.
so I've got something for you that, well, everybody's gonna already know this. You already know this, but I'll mention it. So, couple podcasts ago, half dozen podcasts ago. Um, well, let me preface this with uh, LG will not be one of my players this year. Outrageously disappointed about that, but he gets the opportunity to be in the apartments. They have made some changes, and they're going with the more seasoned guys are going to be in the apartments, and the rookies are going to be in the host families, and so that's cool. He deserves it, absolutely. So, oddly enough, the apartments are ready, so he's staying with me now until they're ready tomorrow or the day after. That being said, um, I think that we might have a listener or two on the podcast that aren't admitted listeners. Because a couple podcasts ago, I talked about us getting a pitcher that had hit a lot of guys, and I said, "Why are we going after these people that are hitting all these people?" And you stood up for it and said, hey, I don't know that that's necessarily a number we need to be worried about, right? And that. So once again, you stood up for that. I said, no, I don't think that we need to bring guys in that are hitting people. Well, he is one of the guys that's going to be staying with me.
Mhm.
So I have
I,
got my just dessert here. And through the text message, seems like a nice guy. Probably has no idea who we are or who I am. And maybe we'll keep it that way.
Well,
Probably not.
well, the fun part about me controlling everything basically is I'll go back and I
Of course you will.
may or not find that portion of it, or I
Right.
may or may not edit it down and may or may not send it to him, or I don't know, go
Right.
over to your house and maybe make it a bulletin board. I'll make a big poster out of it and then I'll hang it in his
Exactly.
room.
Exactly.
So that
I would
way,
expect nothing less. So but hey, I stand by what I said. And I will, if the conversation would have come up, I will absolutely say, dude, you hit a lot of people. And coming off of a history of us having a lot of people that get hit, I don't know that that's necessarily a good move, but hey, go out there and kill it anyways. I'm rooting for you, buddy.
yeah, I mean, I know we have a source that's within the league,
We do.
and that person has mentioned how he does like our pitching staff. I don't know if that's a little bit of like pumping the tires of like, hey, don't be so negative sometimes,
I think it might
or
be that uh, he might have been high when he said that. Just throwing it out there.
I but
Which
I
we got to have dinner with this friend of ours. I'm going to call him a friend of ours now. We got to have dinner with a friend of ours here on Monday. It was great to have a conversation
mhm.
with him. Yeah, he also. I mean, hey, he's a fan. He's an AA baseball fan, and he gives
I
you good perspective on
I
who you got.
I know that I think the biggest issue that we have is a lot of the players that are on this roster are what if players. And I understand that you have a lot of those in MLB Partner League in general, but I just feel like coming off of a year last year where it was like these players look really good, just being disappointed that I don't want that portion of it to blind us to potentially, if things turn around. I mean, I would rather at the
You
end of the
are
season.
think positive here. What is these comments aren't making any sense. I mean, okay, here's the way that I see it. All right. Um, last year, the big thing is last year did not pan out. Worst
No,
year in RailCats history. Okay, and we bring back 15 players from last year's roster. Okay, that's a lot to bring back from a roster that was the worst for a season, right? We can agree with that. But you are correct. We bring in a lot of what if guys. Now, there's a lot of teams in the association that roll over a majority of their roster. The difference is they don't bring in a lot of what if guys. They bring in a lot of probably guys. Okay.
I
And we haven't brought in very many probably guys.
I would I when I sit there and I look at everything together and I go back and seeing how many batters we bring back and how many pitchers bring back, realistically, the pitchers that we brought back, outside of a handful that we got towards the end of the year, were inning eaters, were people that gave us innings and were successful in doing that. The hitting portion of it, I think, is the one that kind of faltered us a little bit last year because when we did get to those games where we should have had the batting, it didn't come. But that, I mean, we kept the core players that we know that can produce at that level with the hitting portion of it. So, like, when we go into panic mode because we see all these players returning, and then it's just like you take a deep breath, you take a step back, and you look, you go, I understand it, but are we going to be consistent enough to be
Right.
successful?
Like I said, I think we have a successful team if we stick to the two rules. Selective, be selective, patient at the plate, right? And we have a good attitude in the clubhouse.
Yeah,
I think if
I
we
agree.
get those two things, if we go out there and do our job, we get those two things going, right? I mean, there's you're playing professional baseball, but you're playing baseball, right? There's no reason for at the beginning of the game, in the middle of the game, at the end of the game, for the guys to be sitting on the bench, not paying attention to what's going
Mhm.
on in the game, for them to not be with it, all of that stuff. No, everybody should be standing at the fence. Everybody should be excited about what's going on. Everybody should be encouraging their other teammates to go. That's the way it should be, right? Last year wasn't like that. And so if you get that encouragement, if you get that, hey, he struck out, it's all right, buddy, get him next time. We got this. Everybody's lifting each other up. You're going to see a huge increase. And for patience at the plate, some of those good pitchers are going to wind up disappearing. We're going to wind up getting the rough pitchers, and we're going to get some advantages. That's the big thing. Have to have patience at the plate. There's no reason for us to be sitting there having more, all these strikeouts, no walks, not getting people on base, one one base runner every 2 or 3 innings, right? And then it's 2 outs, we get a base runner on first, and then we're done, right? The stuff like that doesn't make any sense. So we have to play the statistics. We have to be patient.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it. We can make with this team that I see, I can make a winning team out of this with those two things.
I agree. I think that together, that and being consistent.
Yeah.
That you
Perfect.
need three of those things. I think in baseball you have to be consistently good. And what
Yeah.
I mean by good, not super outstanding, like you have to be 30% good, basically.
Right.
The 25 to 30% good. Because if you're batting, normally 25 to 30% of the time, you should be getting on base or getting a hit at
You
least.
get a guy that goes 3 for 3 a game. You're thinking, man, this guy's awesome, and then he doesn't hit for the next 35 at bats, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. That's the consistency that we're talking about. All consistency from our pitching. If I was going to say the word consistency, it would not be with our hitting. I would use it for our pitching. We need to be consistent with our pitching. know what you're going to get from each pitcher. That's a homework that the pitching coach has to do. That's the homework that the manager at Lamar has to do. Know what you're getting with your pitchers, being able to put them in a position to succeed, right? Try to get consistency out of them. That's where this guy Reed comes in. If
Hmm.
he's got the eye for the ball and he can say, hey, you know, XYZ doesn't have it today. Guess what? That means XYZ is going to be more consistent because he's not going to be able to go out there when he doesn't have it.
Yeah,
That
I think with the pitchers that we brought back, what hindered them was if they could limit the amount of bad innings per game.
consistency,
Well,
yes. Bad innings.
bad inning, but it's in a game, it's like one bad inning. So like that, I think that the rest of the time they're good to lights out. It's just that one bad inning inflates everything, and then our offense behind that wasn't able to do. We weren't in the shootout. You can't.
But it wasn't always towards the beginning of the game, and it wasn't always the starters.
No, no,
Sometimes
no, no, no,
the
no, no, no.
reliever comes in there, gives up 6 runs. All of a sudden, we're losing. Game's over with.
And I think a lot of those got weeded out.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it was one of those. Let's just for example use a Ty Tiedemann. He would go 3 4 innings. You get to the fifth inning, and he would have that really inflated inning,
Yep.
and then it would be going back to lights out. So like, if we can eliminate that, I think we would have, instead of winning only 30 games last year, you could have added another 10 or 15 games onto that by not having those one bad innings.
Yep. And
Um,
you add another 15 games onto that, it's a different story from the standpoint,
yes.
right? I mean, I would say you bring in a guy like Reed, and how many runs or how many wins is that going to get you? It's probably going to get you 5 or 6. If he's as consistent or as reliable and consistent and good as he was when he was in the majors, you're probably going to get 5 or 6 wins out of that, right?
Yeah.
Games that were maybe close that somebody else might have blown, he comes in and does it. So that gets you, you know, Andres Noriega. What's his last name?
Noreiga.
Noriega. That's what I thought. You get him in there, and maybe he brings you something behind the plate that you were missing. Maybe you get a couple extra wins out of that. Hey, throws out a couple extra runners. I mean, you never know, right? So your consistency, you bring in another 10, 15 games. Right there, you're in playoff time.
Well,
So
yeah, I mean,
it's there.
this year would have it would have helped, but if we tack on 15, you'd have been at 45 wins, which would still put you, Lake Country at 53 wins. Like, you had to have a winning season this year to get into the playoffs.
Well, yeah, but if you win 15 games, then that means somebody else is losing games.
You're right.
So, I mean, we had the runts last year. This year, it's not going to happen. I've got it on good authority. Okay. I always say this. I have it on good authority that the clubhouse attitude is going to be different this year.
Well, we sure hope so.
I believe it. I believe it. I absolutely believe that the clubhouse attitude is going to be different this year. I think it's going to be
Well,
a lot more leadership going on. I think there's going to be a lot more team involvement going on. I think that it's going to be great.
and here's, you always talk about when we, kind of bring it towards the lighter half of this podcast here, is, you're very big into the when someone hits a home run sort of deal. You put the chains on and you have all happy and excited and go lucky, which I get it. You do your thing. How about this? The RailCats and Andrew Mild, they decided to team up and come out with the mild hot sauce, right? So every time someone hits a home run, they take a shot of that hot sauce.
Oh man.
I'm waiting. My bottle's on its way.
I
I
know. And I didn't know if we were going to be able to do this podcast because I thought for a while there you bought the hot sauce on Monday.
and I died.
That you're that your wife had killed you, not by the hot sauce, but that she had actually killed you.
Mhm.
Uh, but hey, it was what, $12 for a bottle of hot sauce?
The $8 for
$8 for
shipping.
you could have just ran by the steel yard and picked
No,
it
no,
up.
no, 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 no. Listen, and I then the Railcats put out a video, and I'm hoping it was my bottle because that would have been cool if it's my bottle. But Andrew Miles was sitting there signing the actual bottle, so
Good.
I think it was one of those that you had to get it shipped. I'm not 100% positive. I don't really read that well, so
Hey, Andrew Mild, great guy.
mhm.
Got a bowl with him a couple of times. He's hey, what? Let's just support the team. You come up with some crazy stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of that kind of writes itself. But hey, let's
Hey,
do it.
I'm a hot
Huh?
sauce lover, so if
Let's do it.
if I gotta kick Frank's Red Hot sauce out of my fridge to put in Andrew Miles hot sauce,
Right.
I
Do it.
sucked in for life.
And
So
everybody, you know what? Hey, you don't necessarily just have to take the shot of the hot sauce, but you get to walk around with the hot sauce bottle, maybe on a chain, right?
mhm.
And you get to smile for the camera, and everybody gets to see, hey, it's the Andrew Mild hot sauce. Hey,
I'm,
I'm good. I'm good
I'm
with that. That would be pretty cool.
you could change my mind with that. That's fine. Or what happens if they win? They just dump a 5 gallon bucket of
Oh,
hot
that
sauce.
would be disgusting. But no, I'm not trying to change my. I think hey, they take a shot of the hot sauce. That's hey, do it. But you know what? That once again, different attitude in the clubhouse. Stuff like that starts happening. Different attitude in the clubhouse.
Well, we shall see. Chuck, you have any final thoughts for this week?
This is it.
I got nothing else.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I do have some final thoughts. Uh, got to see Howie. Got to see LG. Got a guy showing up tomorrow. Got another guy showing up Friday. Um, Dude, we are in this, man. This is the beginning of the beginning. This is
Hmm.
awesome. This is exciting. Uh, I'm I'm pumped. We've got cocktail with the cats that you're gonna not show up to because you're a sellout. Uh,
Listen,
what was that?
I have to
Yes, yes.
I have to talk with a guy to get my shifts swapped. Okay. So I was not expecting it because a lot of things have changed in the realm of where I'm working because my manager was like, "Oh, you guys will work every Monday morning." I'm like, "All right, sweet. I will plan it. Won't have to worry about it." And then he's like, "Oh, I may have to change that." And then next schedule that comes out, he's like, "Bam, you're closing." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. So, um, unfortunately, does not appear to be a listener of the podcast. Just throwing that out there because if he was, he would know cocktail with cats. You were going to be there. Uh, Hey, I you have to be. That's all there is to it. You have to be there. So, uh, but that's here nor there. That's I'm going to be there. Excited about it. Get to see the team. Host families get to meet with Joe like 15 minutes beforehand.
Oh, nice.
Express any kind of our concerns or any kind of things like that. So, this team, this organization is far different than a majority of the other independent baseball organizations. I can tell you that for a fact. Um, and that in itself is something to be excited about. If you are a casual fan, we can't tell you when to show up for different promotions yet. I think it's going to be released this week. Should be probably close, right? We got a lot of things to look forward to there. If you're one of those people that hey, you just want to show up and you want to have a good time, I have it on good authority that there could be some changes in the food menu. We got some good things that might be coming up there. So a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff to be excited about. And it's right there.
It it is.
You don't look as excited as I do.
You see, here's the thing, is that I have to withhold my excitement. All right, because if I don't withhold my excitement, I go on crazy tangents and I just go full crazy mode. Okay, listen, my little impulses, all right, little impulses are buying the hot sauce when I know I'm spending $20 on hot sauce. Like, why are you doing that?
But
It's just
right.
because I'm excited for it.
Right.
I sit there and I'm for some odd reason I'm thinking that next week is opening day on that Friday, but it's not. I have to wait another week.
Right.
Lots going on. My head isn't always necessarily at what's going on because of work, but it's going to get to that point, and obviously having a child on the way, that's also a lot going on in one little. So I'm excited to be able to get away from reality for a little bit. Like that's the 2.5, 3.5 hours that I get to watch a baseball game is time that I can decompress and have my mind go somewhere else.
Just get
So,
have some fun, right?
and that's ultimately, again, this is what we're doing. Everything. This is just the players and the staff and everyone else. It's their livelihood, but for us, it's a time to enjoy ourselves and be around people that care enough to go to the games.
Right.
That's what you're getting.
A lot to look forward to, man. A lot to look
Yes.
forward to. I mean,
Uh,
to me, you show up to one of these games, and whatever's going on in your house, whatever's going on in your life, kind of puts it on pause for that period of time and kind of gives you that break that you need mentally and physically, just to be able to enjoy a game. And that, I'll tell you, I mean, I bet you, I bet you, statistically, you're a statistic guy,
yes.
right? And I doubt very highly that this has actually been looked into. We get all these people that do all these medical researches and everything. They blame depression on winter.
Hmm.
I'm going to say it's because there's no baseball. You've heard it there.
For you, maybe yes.
No,
But
no. I've heard that in the wintertime, depression is higher. I believe it's not because it's the wintertime. I believe that's a coincidence. It's actually because there's no baseball.
my other love is hockey, so that's during the winter time. So I don't really get depressed because of that. But
Exactly. There you go. That is my point, right? And more people love baseball than love something crazy like hockey. So just saying, just saying.
anyways, looking at the future schedule, um, next week I'm probably looking to get in contact with Andrew, seeing if we can get him on for next week to do like a preview sort of deal with the team. So realistic, we're a week and maybe 2 weeks away from doing the preview and seeing what the final roster might be, and then May 9th is opening day. So we'll actually have games to talk about instead of talking out of our butts for the past
Oh,
how many months?
I, hey, there's a lot to look forward to, man. This is it, right? This is a lot of things on the line. I mean, jobs on the line. You're talking, championships on the line. You're talking history could be made. Uh, a lot of things going on. So, what is Chris Irwin's? How far from breaking some RailCats records?
Not very far.
Not very far, right? And we get to there's a very good chance we'll get to see that this year.
Hmm.
I mean, there's just a lot to be excited about.
Yes, there is.
Did I
Well,
sell enough, do you think?
I think so.
Okay, good, good.
Well, with that being said, that'll wrap up the podcast. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, wherever you're watching this, and go Cats.
Go Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.